So these are tulips. I've been wanting to do these a while because every once in a while I do a vessel or something, and I want to always stick artificial flowers in it. So I thought it'd be neat to put some tulips in. And what I did is I pretty much kept it all the natural wood. My wife wanted to paint one. She thought, anyways, that's
another story.
That's another story. But anyways, even out of spectre ply, even out of spectre ply, it turns out pretty neat.
That's real nice.
Yeah, it is. And also, I like the white tamarin, or cheese tamarin, as it's called. That works out pretty good too. Now these are closed tulips. So when tulips you see in the store, a lot of times that look like this are they're closed. They haven't opened yet. And whoa, that's got a poly finish on it. So we'll see. So anyways, this is one that's closed, but there's a little flare on the tips. Now, when the tulips open up, they look more like this. Okay, so that's the tulips. They're about, well, I'll get into it. All right, what I start with is, by the way, this, I didn't come up with this. Steve Reed did, and it was in the AAW Journal back in spring of 1999. I found it there when I was going through them. But Mike Peace on the one, but he does his version of Steve Reed. So you start off with any piece of wood you want, 2 by 2 by 2.5 inches long. Oh, look there.
Talk to the camera.
2 by 2 by 2.5 inches long. And what I do is draw a center on each end, and you'll see why as we get through it. So this is what you start with. So next, my chuck. And what I try to do, the more, what should I say, square and parallel this piece is, that's easier to mount and the more even it is when you finish. But what I do is if I have one edge that's flat, I'll stick that in the chuck. And you know what? I may have to use one of your chucks. Not big enough. Yep, it's not big enough. I bought the wrong chuck. Where's the locking for this?
So on your left, you see that button all the way on your left.
All the way on my left.
Up.
Here.
No, all the way on your left.
I don't see any buttons. You got a power button, you got the...
No, right there. Move your hand up. Move your hand up. Move your hand left. Left, 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 right there.
That's a button?
Underneath.
Oh, it is. It's a button.
It's a button.
Where's the, let me have one. It looks like that one right over.
No, that
This
big one's
one's
too
too
big.
That one?
I don't know. Stick it up there before you, yeah. Well, then I got to put an adapter.
Oh,
So,
grab the wrong chuck. Yeah, that'll work.
what about the one below it? That'll work. Grab that one. That's a direct thread.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's heavy.
Okay, just a little. I know why I brought this chassis. Everything you'll see. There.
All right, they're loose. Okay, the key is the red handle one. Right there next to your drink.
Right here?
Right behind your drink.
Oh, I see it. The red handle.
Red handle.
This one.
That one.
All right. All right, what I do here is the reason I mark the centers and put this back here is, boy, you got to work out here. Is what I do then, is because this isn't really centered, it's not necessarily flat, I'll make sure that my drill point hits the center. I should have done some.
Well, you got to loosen it.
I did. There. And then I'll tighten down the chuck. And the reason I'm not worried about this is if you do some multi-axis turning and you don't use the points, you rotate your piece. And that's pretty much what I'm doing here. So it's 2 by 2 by 2.5. I have a 3/4 inch drill bit, and I marked 1.5 inch as the depth. And you wonder where these all came from? That's what Steve, what was his name? Steve Reed came up with, but I talked to David C. about using the same ratio for different sizes. So it's all ratios. So turn this on and we're clear.
Over here.
No, pull
Over here.
it. I did pull it. Oh, hey. I'll get the hang of this. Okay, so I want to go up to about 200 and drill it to my.
Flat your tail stuff. Either way,
Yep.
Tilt the camera down.
sorry, the cameraman's sleeping.
And you need to clean this out every once in a while so it doesn't get all gunked up and freeze. It's not a lot of fun to try and get a drill bit out of a piece of wood that's frozen in there. Sharp drill bit helps too. Okay, now I'm back. Get a little shavings out of the way. Almost there. One and 3/4. Yeah, let me take this back. Yeah. Okay. Now the next thing you'll need to do. How did I put that? Right here, so I knew where it was.
Yeah, exactly.
Is you're going to have to make a jam chuck at this point. So I already made one. And
I
with
don't
this,
know if that'll fit in that chuck or not.
I don't know. If it doesn't, that's why.
Yeah, it will.
Okay.
It will.
You need to make a jam chuck that is close to the 3/4 inch diameter size. And what this jam chuck is used for is for turning the tulip. It's also for holding it when you're putting a finish on. And when you go to drill the bottom hole in your tulip for the stem, you mount that here and put on a drill press. Okay? You'll see that as we get into it.
Behind.
Jeez. See, by the time I get used to where I put everything, they'll be over. Behind. Throw one of my cheapo.
Oh, I just put them on the head stuff.
Oh, see, I'm not used to
You want it one way or you want this one?
That's fine.
Okay.
It's not. I do use the one way with the cone.
All right.
So you want to. And that's that.
Air compressor.
Now, with some videos, what I've seen them do is they'll just take a rod, 3/4 inch dowel, and they'll mount it in a chuck. But the reason I like this jam chuck with a little shoulder on it is I can grab it, put it under the drill press, and well, you can use this for finishing too. But I feel it holds it better here than this does.
Well, you're not hanging out in the middle of the
Right. Well, you can make it
room
closer
where
too.
it's
but
vibration.
it's got to be at least 1.5, 2 inches long also, so it's sticking out a bit. But what I also use these for is painting the tulips. You know, you put 1 or 2 on this and spray it and sit. Okay. It was a little loose, so I'm going to put another piece of tape. Yes. Put that up. Yeah, there. I can feel, there it is, nice and snug. Snug as a bug. And I'll bring this up. That's why I mark the centers on either side because I'm going to use them right away. Mark that here, just move this a little bit. What about the cuts? What's that? The cuts. The cuts. What about cuts? Oy, oy, oy. I'm getting ahead of myself here. The key to this, watch out for the headstock. The most important, boy, that is jammed down there.
Yeah, that's jammed on there good.
Okay, the key here, thank you, Ralph, is to
Jam chuck, right?
jam chuck.
Jam chuck.
I got this marked at 1 inch. So I want a 1 inch depth here on two sides. It helps if you turn the lead the other way. Yep. Yeah, there's the whole side. You want to mark the whole side.
Cut down in there.
Yep, right here. This is what I'm trying to achieve. This is what it looks like before you turn it. And I almost forgot that part of it. Okay. So I come down an inch and a half, I'm sorry. Wow, I like to do it on too smooth. You only need two sides because it's going on a bandsaw next. So once I make my bandsaw, I'm really cutting two edges. Then I also need to draw a hole from the center. Now to get the center, these aren't exactly two. Let me just measure it real quick. It's more like 2 1/8, so I want 1 1/16 for the center. So what I'll do is I'll go 1 1/16. I don't know if you've used dividers like this, 1 1/16, and I'll just go like this for my center. Here, 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 I was off a little, and here. So you can see I'm off a little. So the center, I'll split the difference, and it's much easier to find it that way. Then I'll come up here to the top, to the top. What I'm going to do is I'm going to outline this in a magic Sharpie when I'm done so you can see better what it looks like. Then I'm going to get this all written down. Then I'm going to go 1/4 inch on each side. Okay. It's hard to see with the light. 1/4 inch. 1/4 inch. All right. So I brought my own Sharpie so I don't have to use Ralph's. And what I want to do is come up like so. And that's what I'm going to put on the bandsaw. That's what I'm going to bandsaw out. It's just freehand. Okay? Now next we go over to the bandsaw. How do we do this? Huh?
How do we do it?
Yeah, how do you do it? You stand by. I guess, you know, it's pretty much, I can do it. Now that Danny's got the bandsaw, she can do this for you. Right, Danny?
Yes.
Now you got a bandsaw, you can do this. Now pay attention, Danny. Okay?
Yes, I'm paying attention.
I don't know for this part, Now I've already, ahead of time, made sure that it's locked down. I got the right height. And you want the height to be just above the bushings, just above the rollers. The height of the...
Okay.
Yeah, you want to keep your guide down as low as possible when you're working.
And you remember Dave Friendlick did a demonstration on bandsaw maintenance. And when you use a bandsaw, this is the red zone. This is where you don't want to put your finger. So when I'm doing this, it's like riding a bike. My elbows are going to be outside. You see? My elbows are going to be out. My fingers are going to be to the end. I'm not going in that deep or that far close to my fingers, so that's why I'm not using any push bar. Is that okay, Mr. Friendlick? Too late. one, I want to be the other. Okay, I got both sides.
Uh-huh.
Two for the price of one.
The reason I felt comfortable doing that is because there was a lot of wood between me and my fingers. Okay. Put it back on the jam chuck.
And when you're using that bandsaw, always make sure that you're wearing breathing protection. Because a bandsaw is one of the worst dust makers there is.
Okay, so now what I'm going to do is first I'm going to round a piece of wood, and then I'm going to start shaping it. And I use my spindle roughing down. I'm going to put it between my legs when I do that. Yeah, let's see. Well, I can bring this back, can I? I can bring this out.
Yeah. Here. Loosen that. Straight up. Now, just wind this out.
Yeah.
No. Go in.
Uh-huh.
Wind it.
Well, I want to
Wind it.
Okay.
Other way.
I want to bring this out, so I
Wind it out.
all the way out.
No, the other way.
Oh, okay. This way.
Yeah, that way.
I want to make room so I can get
Wind.
Oh,
All right, which one is Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy?
Yeah. I thought he told me don't whine. He said whine.
Wine. No whining, wine. Wind the damn tail lock out.
Got it.
Lock it. Now lock it again. There.
All right. That's pretty slick, Ralph.
Yeah.
I could do that with mine too.
Yeah, you can. Shocking.
I'll be.
It's time saver.
Wow.
You know. Why take extra steps when you don't have to?
You're right. Now, if you see that spinning, that's pretty square. We're mounting it on my on the chuck, and it wasn't really a flat surface, but we're centering up right here on this center line here that I drew at the very beginning, up on the jam chuck. Okay, this one, and this one. Everything is tight. I got everything tight. This is tight. Okay. And when I'm doing this, I'm coming here a little because I know this is going to be the bottom of the tulip. I like it. That was worth the price of demo. Yeah. And that's pretty smooth. I wanted something I noticed tonight when I was talking to Ralph earlier. Now, his spindle roughing gouge, I don't know if you can see it, but you see the wings here? Oh, he's got them like this. There, like that. And to there. As compared to this,
Right across.
see? So I've got mine a little, but not quite that angle he's got. So I'm going to redo this one a little. That just gives you less of a chance of catching these wings on something you're turning.
Now always make sure your center of your spindle roughing gouge is higher than the outside.
Okay, back to where I
Back to
was.
where you was.
Right here.
Back.
Yeah, I'm up to.
Black knob.
What?
Black knob.
Oh, yeah. Well, you got a little fan here, too. Oh,
fan cooled motor.
Oh.
Lower the camera.
You can't see it here, but it's still pretty thick here. Still pretty thick here. And it's funny how this works is where you see the pedal tip. The pedal tip here, it's not this edge because this edge is going to be turned away. It's this corner here is where the edge comes from. You see what I mean by the tip here? This pointy part is really coming from the inside, not the outside, because you see that's going away. Does that make sense? Anybody? Mr. Friendly? He's gone. And this is a pretty nice finish on this. Like Ralph has said many times, you can get this pretty close to a finishing, a nice finish here where you don't have a lot of sanding. And one thing about this, I'm not pushing these things, but this is the first M42 steel that I've got. And I tell you, I really like them. They use sharp, seem to stay sharper longer, and it's a nice, nice tool. Everybody makes them. So you just got to look for a sale. But Hurricane Supplies makes some. Hurricane Tools, everybody makes it. And yeah, the good thing about having this jam chuck made out of wood, if I was to take a dowel and put it on my truck, a metal chuck, you weren't watching what you're doing, you hit the metal. But no one would do that. I don't know if you can see that, but see how nice and smooth this finish is here? Can you see that on the camera at all? I mean, that looks like, you know, a sharp tool finish that you would put on a piece of wood. It almost looks like I used a skew there. And this is, I think this is part of that Iroko. That's what this is. Yeah. Iroko. It's getting pretty thin there. You gotta check the inside all the time. I may have a little just to put a, it's nice. Turned out very nice.
David,
Yes.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
My dad and I have a bandsaw in our garage, but my dad has been not able to get it working. Can one of you guys come and help us with the bandsaw? It needs maintenance.
Well, you know, to do this operation, you don't need a bandsaw. A couple other saws that you can do. You can also use a scroll
What is
saw.
wrong with it? What is the problem?
I don't know what exactly is wrong with it, but Dad told me it needs maintenance. It hasn't run.
Hey, it's real simple. I never got it finished setting it up before some other stuff happened. So it's just been sitting there
Okay.
since I got it from a certain person.
There's a really good video. Is it Alex Snodgrass?
Yes.
Alex Snodgrass. It's half an hour. It's worth digging it out online and watching it over and over again. It'll help you, give you a good start to setting it up.
Okay.
Very good. I'll send the link for that tomorrow.
Thank you.
Daniel, I wasn't trying to avoid your question. If you really wanted to work on this, there's other means you can do it. You don't need a bandsaw. You can either use like I said, a scroll saw. Or, worst case, use a handsaw. Then, clamp it down in a vise or leave it on a machine in the shop and use your scroll saw or your handsaw to do it. They make these, what do they call them? They're a small coping saw, exactly. Coping saw, you get a cheap one at the Harbor Freight. I've got one. A coping saw is just easy to use on this. If you don't have any other saws. Coping saw. All right. Do a little more shaping.
Hey, can I ask a question, Dave? This is Dave Gladman.
Yes, Dave, go ahead.
Yeah. Is the tulip more delicate because of the cuts of the bandsaw on the inside, on the proximal side? Do you need to be more delicate working the area with the cuts or not?
I've tried the scroll saw and the bandsaw, and the scroll saw bounces around a lot. Even if mine was small enough, like couldn't put the clamp down on it to hold it as it's going through, so I had to hold it down with my finger. The only thing that you have to watch there, David, is when you're cutting it, no matter what saw you're using, okay, here's where, if you're not smooth here, you can see on this one, I don't know if you can see it, see how I resawed it the second time, so you see like a little cut here?
Yes.
So if you're not real smooth with it, it'll just take you a little longer to smooth these out. So when you get down,
Right, but,
let me show you something.
yeah. My question was, when you're using the gouge over that area, is it going to break it? I mean, is it more delicate to do the turning on that area when you're on the lathe?
No.
No. Okay, that was my
These
question.
aren't real thick.
Right.
Now, it
didn't
starts
seem-
off,
Real thin.
yeah, it starts off with a lot of material.
Yeah.
And you cut it. See, I'm working with if it was 2 inches, minus.
Yeah, you got a roughing gouge.
I got like a half inch here by maybe half to maybe 1 or less. So I've got a lot of meat here that I'm working with.
Okay.
But the only thing that you got to watch if you don't try and do that cut on your bandsaw or scroll saw or coping saw in one pass, you end up here. You end up with some rough edges here. Okay? So what I do there is I have a Dremel and then some burrs you can get. Harbor Freight sells them. You just go in there and clean that up.
Sure.
If it turns out real jagged, you can come back there and turn it up. Or take a piece of sandpaper, put it on a popsicle stick, and use that to go back and forth to do your sanding.
Mm-hmm.
Or
But you
can
never
start
lost the
with-
point.
Start a new one. Yep.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Why does Ralph suddenly look much better and sound better?
You know,
That's what happens when you open it to the public. All right. Did that answer your question, David?
Yes, thanks.
Okay. I guess school is out. I'm just finishing the shaping of this tulip. All right. Now what I'm going to do is attempt what Ralph does all the time so easily, is to round off the bottom. With my, I have a 35 degree angle. That's because the Raptor is at 35. I guess a lot of you, some people put them at 30, but I didn't have a 30 degree angle.
Spindle gouge.
Yeah, detail gouge. What that's what you want to do. Ralph showed me that in his earlier demos, what not to do. There you go, not too bad. Not too shabby. A little rough. What I'm going to do, I've got a negative rake scraper that I made. Negative rake. And what it is, again, this has got a 35 degree, it's an included angle of 70, 35 and 35. 35 and 35. The black cylinder should be white. You can tell.
Similar to a skew.
Yep. If you can shave the hair on your arms, you know it's sharp. Anyways, this is one of these old Craftsman. And I know we said it, if you can find it, I got this at a yard sale. The whole set, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 pieces for like $40. Real good steel. And this, with this skew, with any negative rate, you want to be even with the center of your piece. It's got to be the center, not down or up, center.
Hey, Ralph or Dave, hold up the tool again. The negative rate scraper. Everybody look at, the handle. Look at the brown handle. It'll say, I don't want to see the point. I want to show the handle. You got to make sure that you get the brown handles because those are the high-speed steel, not the light blonde handles.
I've got it all the way up. Yeah, I don't know why it's not coming up.
All right, that's fine. And what I do is, where I have the burr, because you want the burr up when you're doing this, I sharpen it such that I know when I see the Craftsman name, I know I've got it in the right position for the burr. just a
Hey
little.
Dave, are you just using the negative rake for the finish, or to remove material?
Just more for finish, so I don't have to sand as much. Or here's one of my favorites. I know Ralph doesn't like these.
Carbide.
Right. I like the carbide because it's like using a skew. Well, that's not bad. This wood is a little rough till you sand it, and it's nice and smooth. There you go. That's another where you have any sandpaper. Let me leave it there. I wanted to sand it. I'm leave that in there. Turn it down a little for sanding. Wrong knob. I don't know why I keep turning that big one. Just a little sand. And what I find too with a piece like this, a small piece, sometimes you get those swirly marks from sanding, but it's easier to just go back and forth with the grain. Like those of you that made pens, pretty much just how you sand a pen. It's a lot less wood. You don't have to spin it. You just keep moving it around, go through your grits, and you won't have any marks. It's pretty coarse. They've got a little. How are we doing timeline? But what I'll try then. Yeah. Yep. No. No. Oh, here. Oh, there. Yeah, you do have to move this baby way out of the way. This is in there pretty tight. Let's see how this baby rests. Yeah. That's a. Yeah, it's a little longer. Jeez. Keep turning the red knob. one you would use, right? No, that's not. Yep. Yeah, I would have done that without it on.
Crank it up. Bam.
Where? Almost like turning an egg, right?
Yeah, kind of.
Half an egg. What's that? Oh, this feels a lot smoother than that.
Oh, this one is 100.
Yep. All right. And that's your tulip. Okay. So the next thing to do is to drill the bottom. It depends what you're going to use. If you use a 1/4-inch dowel, you want to drill it about, I think it's 17/64. The next drill size up from a 1/4 inch. That way it fits in there real good.
Why didn't you drill on the lathe?
You can drill it either way. Drill it on the lathe or drill it on the drill press.
Yeah, I guess. Maybe I just tell I have done that because I have a little hole in here where I went through the tulip. But then I started marking it 1/2 inch. So that's your.
If you were doing production line on these, it would be easier, in my opinion, to turn them like they did, and then take them all off and drill them on the drill press.
That's exactly what I did. I did about 13 of them at one time, 10, 10, 12, and that's what I did. Once I had them all this rough turned like this,
Right.
I took them on the
Drill press, but you use the same mandrel, jam chuck mandrel that they made there, and it just sits on the drill press table and holds it perfect. Okay, because if you're going to do production line on these, and you're going to try to drill them on the lathe, each time you finish one, you got to change, put the chuck in there with drill bit, drill the damn thing, move it. You change your tooling. Which takes time. So, but you can do it either way. Doesn't matter. If you got plenty of time, then do it however you want.
So after that, I say then when you go to finish them, you can either do wax, oil, or what I do is I just put it back on this jam chuck. I put a piece of this paper or cardboard underneath, and spray it. With lacquer is what I did on some of these. And that way, I didn't get much on my chuck. It's mostly got on this piece of wood. So just be careful how I sprayed it, covered the ways, and make sure there's something back here. And that's the tulip.
So the inside stays rough?
Yeah, drill bit thing. So, it's a flower in the wild.
Yep. The only difference to that process that I showed you is you want to make it look like it's an open tulip. Once you do your bandsaw work, you go in here and you turn out some of the center from the bottom out. And then by doing that,
Oh, when you hit it more open?
yeah, no, I can see it. That's behind. Oh well, but anyways, it's right here in front of me.
Right there in front of you.
So it's
More open in the top.
more open in the top.
Hold that up.
More open in the top versus this. You would then thin out some of this wood here. You wouldn't get as much of a point, and it would look like it's more open tulip. So that's the difference between a closed tulip that's opening and an open tulip. Any questions? I guess that's it. Yeah. Any questions? Nope. Good.
Anybody? No questions on that?
Dave, I got a question.
No.
I gotta ask.
No, I got one.
Hold
If
on,
you do
before
it,
talk, I need everybody to speak up. My audio is not, for some reason, I'm very low volume on you guys.
okay. Dave, when you do an open tulip, do you use the same mandrel when you flip it around?
Yeah. Yeah, because there still is enough in there to grab it.
You can see that with the camera. You don't go all the way to the bottom of the hole. Leave enough of the 3/4 drill hole where you can get a purchase on the mandrel.
I did say, oh, it's bringing it from the bottom up. But yeah, you want to leave at least part of that 3/4 so you can grab it on the mandrel. That's correct. Yep. Yeah. Just one other thing I'd like to show you. This is a 2-for-night. If you remember at the workshop, and this one's for you, Danny. I hope you're still there. I got a bunch of burls away back from up in Broward. They're bottle brush burls. And these are smaller pieces. This is what they look like. So what I did is I cut off the ends.
Okay.
I made a jam chuck or a screw chuck, just a block of wood with a screw in it. Put the screw into the ham chuck. Then once you have your screw in there, you cut off the head. Dremel makes a tool that it's a metal cutter. So then you take that, you hold it down on your screw chuck, put it back in. I'll do this pretty quick because I get more time. And when I'm done, what I want to end up with is a little mushroom.
So cute.
And it's only about 1.5 inches tall.
Oh,
And
that's nice.
no telling how it's going to end up. And this bottle brush is different than the other bottle brush that you see that these guys make beautiful bowls out of. Every one of these bottle brush pieces I got has some kind of limb going through it. So it's not a solid piece of bottle brush. There's some kind of limb going through.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why here you'll see a piece of a limb. But that's just the nature of this. It's not like a bottle brush you see holes in it. So what I do here, start off.
David,
Yeah.
the size of the screw that you put on the chuck and then you put in the piece is very short. No, it doesn't need to be long.
No, it doesn't have to be long.
Okay.
Just to hold it.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's about, let's see. Yeah, it's about quarter of an inch.
Okay.
And I say
Thank you.
you could probably use a hacksaw, but those cutters that come with the Dremel tools, you can buy them. It's much easier. It comes right off. And it doesn't have to be a point either.
Okay.
So you've got a few of these, right?
Sorry?
Danny, you've got a few of these, right? The bottle brush? You have some of these bottle brush pieces? Danny, you still there?
Yes, I am. I didn't hear you.
Okay, I said you still have some of these small bottle brush.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so
I still have one piece. One I tried to do a small egg, and then it was nice, and the other one is still rough. It's still to be used.
well, I say I made this because I know you and Paula had some, so I made these already for you and Paula. So they're here whenever you want them.
Okay, I of course.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, if you want to bring the bottle brush, we can drill the hole because you don't want the hole to be too big and sloppy. So what I've done is I've done that. I drilled the hole a little big. So I wrapped it with tape. That didn't work too good. So I took a little dab of medium or thick CA glue. I put that on the screw and turned the bottle brush in, and that's just enough to hold it. It's not going to hold it so that you can't get it off because you're gluing metal to wood. Now, if you glued metal to metal, then it'd be a lot harder to take it off. But the metal to wood is easy to unscrew.
Okay.
Okay, so then you just do this the way you normally do. You'll use the tailstock. I got room here. And here you're not really trying to make everything any perfect, because the more off it is, the better it looks. Right now, it's not really centered. Too slow. Gets into it so much. The burl is so holy that it gets into it and really tears it up. So what I'm going to do first is, what's that? Max it out. All I'm going to do is just round this off a little.
Oh.
Go. Make sure you turn the lathe off before you move it. Yeah. And here all I'm doing is just trying to shape the top of the mushroom. All I'm doing is just trying to just shape the head. Okay, now I want to get in there. I didn't bring a parting tool. What I'm going to do is, I didn't bring a parting tool. Is go in here and just take out some of the center part here where the stem is going to be. All I'm using is the parting tool, go back and forth, make the stem bigger diameter in the bottom. Make the stem bigger on the bottom here than it is at the top. And that's what I'm doing here with the stem.
Okay. And in this one, I do have the whole size just right, because one of them or two of them, it was a little too big, the whole size inside the bottle brush on the bottom, so I took it down a notch, and that makes a big difference. So another tool that I use, that I got this a long time ago, just a piece of rod, and just made a little I'll tell you what, let me do this. Hold on. There we go. There we go. Now you guys can see. Hold the damn thing still. Still can't see very well.
Too close.
Okay.
It's basically a gouge without a flute.
Yep.
So you have a gouge shape on the end, and of course no flute. You just round the top back flat.
Yep. So what I'm going to do here is try, I need to do some more up here, undercut the mushroom. What I mean by undercut the mushroom See that undercut there?
Uh-huh.
How it goes under? That's what I'm doing.
Kind of looks like a real mushroom.
Yep. Or in the carving world, you can call this a stylized mushroom. It's one that doesn't have a lot of details. I'm looking for my turn-on switch up there.
Yeah, it's not there.
Not
Right
there.
there. Use that button over there.
Yeah. Just come in here. Nope, I don't like. I'm not getting in there. So, I'm going to use maybe, I think it was like 2013, 14, 15. The AAW has this program where they have drawings every month for gift certificates for members. So I was lucky enough. Yeah, no, it's the Hunter.
Oh, okay. It's the little bitty Hunter carbide tool.
Little carbide, a Hunter carbide tool. See, it's round. It's like, it's just a round.
Round cutter.
It's like this one, this round cutter, only
Itty bitty things.
a lot smaller. Can you see that? Can you see the size? Can you see that?
Now, yes.
Yes, a real small. And that's how I get in there to do the undercutting. I'm just getting underneath there. Had this thing for like 4 or 5 years, never rotated. Maybe it's time. I don't think so. Yeah, maybe. Let's just see. You know what? I was too low. That's the problem. Too low. That's too good. Yeah, this one's lost a lot of it. It's like a box of chocolate.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to get.
I got past what I'm looking for to make sure I got past the hole. I did. Just a little bit. No, I didn't. One more look. Got a lot of rings on the bottom, the base. Just got some rings on the bottom. The base isn't flat or smooth. There you go. Just unscrew it. Did pretty good. It held the whole time. And there's a little mushroom. No time at all.
Good.
Some of those small pieces, you don't know what you're going to do with.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to use the burl. You can use any old chunk of wood.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that.
So cute. Yeah. Thank you.
Nice.
Was that mushroom picked around 3 Mile Island or Chernobyl?
Yeah, that was the one. Radioactive.
Or was it picked in Indian Key?
What?
Was the mushroom picked in Indian Key?
Was it picked in
Okay.
Indian Key.